Okay, I think I'm alive. Welcome to the first session of Creating Inner Beauty live sessions. This is going to be a weekly time that we can come together on YouTube as a community to talk about topics that are important for empathic, intuitive, spiritual, sensitive women who are working on healing themselves, stepping into their power and gifts, and manifesting lives that feel soul aligned, joyful, and fulfilling. That's the work that excites me. And I would love to create a space here on YouTube where we can have some ongoing conversations about that. And also to answer any questions people might have and to create sort of a resource bank of videos that you guys can go back to if you feel like you need any information on these different topics that we're going to be talking about. So today's topic is energetic self-care for empathic, intuitive, sensitive women. It's a topic I love talking about. It's extremely foundational if you find yourself on a spiritual and healing journey. And I'll talk in a few minutes about why that is. But before I get any further, let me just take a second to introduce myself. Not forget about that part. My name is Liz, and I'm intuitive coach and healer. And like I mentioned, my work is all about helping women heal themselves, step into their power and unique intuitive gifts, and manifest soul aligned lives. And if you haven't met me, nice to meet you. And one of the reasons I love talking about energetic self care is that in my past, I actually worked as a traditional therapist for a very long time. And this was back before I knew about energy, about the importance of caring for our energy, the energy system. And since I've learned about that and become an energy healer and coach, I really look back at that time of working with people in a more traditional therapy setting and wish I had known about these things because there came a point where I started to feel very, very drained and burnt out as an empathic, intuitive woman myself. So, helping by sharing some of the things I've learned, some of the things that I do on a daily basis, that these things will be helpful to you if you are someone who identifies as being empathic, intuitive, sensitive. Perhaps you are a healer or working in a job where you have to interact with a lot of people, or you're just that go-to person for people. I find this happens a lot. You're that go-to person for people, a caretaker, someone people rely on, and that's a beautiful thing to be, but also comes with its own challenges sometimes of feeling very drained emotionally and energetically. And so these are the types of things that can help you deal with that. So, if you're here live, say hello. I would love to know if you're watching and who you are and where you're from. And also start keeping in mind any questions that you might have about this topic, or feel free to put them in the chat now, because I will leave some time to answer questions at the end of our session. Or if there's some that are pertinent as we're going along, I'll stop and answer them as we go along. Okay, so let us talk a little bit first about what being, just to kind of make sure we're all on the same page about this, what is being an empath, right? And the definition I like to think about, I like to use, is someone who feels the emotions and energies of other people as if they are their own. So it's not just being like aware of and sympathetic to other people's emotional emotions and energies. It's that we start to take them on and take them in as if they're our own experience. And of course, this can be in varying degrees. Sometimes it's just a little bit, you just kind of feel a little bit impacted by someone else's energy or emotions, or you can feel very impacted, very burnt out, very, very overwhelmed, etc. And so, but it is having that experience. Or, if you're the kind of person who tends to be able to walk in to a space and feel, let's say there was an argument there, you can still feel the tension in the air, even though no one is talking or you don't know exactly what happened. You might be somebody who's particularly empathic and energetically sensitive. So, let me know if you resonate with that, if that's something that you experience in your life. I'd love to hear about that. And there's actually many different kinds of empaths. This was something I wasn't aware of before I started learning about energy and being an empath. And so let me just go over with a couple of them with you, see if they resonate with you, see if you identify with any of these. And you may be more than one. I found that to be true for myself. You may be a emotional empath, someone who is very sensitive to other people's emotions. And like I said, when you're around someone who's having a big emotion, you might feel that emotion come up within yourself, be very impacted in that way. You might be a physical empath. So this is someone who is sensitive to other people's how their body feels, their health and wellness. You may be able to pick up on if someone is not feeling well or having a certain ache or pain. This can show up, and like if you spend time with someone, let's say with a headache, and then all of a sudden you find yourself having a headache, that you may be a physical empath in that way. You may be an intuitive empath, so someone who really picks up on intuitive information. This is broken down into many different kinds of intuitives. You can also be a plant empath, which I think is fascinating, right? If you really feel tuned in to plants, very connected to plants, you seem to feel and know what they need to thrive and feel like you have a connection with them. If you're a plant lady, you might be a plant empath. If you're very tuned into animals, there's animal empaths. If you feel very sensitive and impacted by animal welfare, feeling their emotions, etc. You may be an animal empath. So all different kinds of empaths, so which I think is a really beautiful thing. So something that can be important on this journey is understanding what your sensitivities are, and then knowing if there are situations that are going to be particularly challenging for you as someone who's sensitive to that thing, and planning for that. And also, you may also want to know about these things so you know your own unique gifts and strength. Because I will say something I always like to point out to my clients who come in and talk to me about being an empath, they often are in a place, right? So they're coming to me usually for energy healing or for intuitive coaching. They're in a place where they're feeling very like overwhelmed by their gift and very burnt out, kind of frustrated. Maybe their energy is low, their vibration is low, and it's feeling more like a burden than a gift. And what I like to share with people and what I have found for myself is that yes, there are certain challenges that come with being an empath, an intuitive, a sensitive person. And we do need to have special ways of taking care of that, which is what we'll dive into in a moment. But it's also a gift and something that you have, that's sort of a superpower and that you can offer to the world as well. Empaths actually make incredible partners and parents, right? Because you're very tuned into other people. So you tend to know what your partner needs, what your child needs, be able to respond to it appropriately. And that is a gift to those people in your life. Often, empathic people are incredible leaders, bosses, managers, supervisors, because you're able to tune in to what your employees need, what your clients need, what your community needs, and be able to match that and help lead them in a way that really resonates with the people around you and with each individual, which is a superpower, which is a gift. Also, empaths, especially when you're taking really good care of your energy and feel very clear, very aligned, very powerful manifestors. Why? Because you're very emotionally sensitive or very emotionally sensitive. We can feel the emotions of having a certain experience, of calling in something in particular for ourselves very easily, right? We can place ourselves in that experience very easily. And how do you manifest things? Primarily through the emotions you feel and the vibration you hold. So when you can really get clear in your energy, have that high vibration and hold those emotions, which empaths can do to a greater degree, you tend to create things in your life very quickly. So never forget about those gifts. I think that's important, an important starting place. Okay. So, but there are challenges as well, right? We can sometimes feel quite overwhelmed, quite burnt out. So let's talk about actually caring for your energy as an empath. Now, I'm going to talk about this as well, first, let me dive into why it's a couple things about why it's important. Then I will talk about exactly what we're going to do. So, this is important for a number of reasons. First, like most obviously, of course, is you're going to feel better. You're going to feel less burnt out. You're going to feel less thrown off balance when you're in big groups or when you're have encountered someone who has an energy that doesn't align or drags your own down. You're going to feel happier, more elevated, have more energy to give yourself and others, right? So that's first great reason to really focus in on your energetic self care. Second reason is if you're someone that really has a desire to live in alignment with your intuition, to open up your intuitive gifts, to be maybe working as a healer or as an intuitive, etc. You really your let me take a step back. Clearing your energy is a foundational part of that process. And here's why. Your guides, your angels, your anybody who works with you from the other side, who's going to be giving you intuitive nudges, who's going to be helping guide you. The way they do that is through your energetic field. And so your energetic field has to be clear and your vibration has to be high because they're at a higher vibration in order to most clearly, most accurately have that connection with them and perceive your own intuition and be able to kind of trust it and know, hey, this is my intuition, not somebody else's energy I'm carrying or not my anxiety, right? The more clear your energy is, the more clear that will be. And then lastly, if you are on a healing journey and you're really looking to kind of come home to yourself and live authentically, it's hard to do that when you're carrying everybody else's energy from your life. So that's why you want to really focus in, lock in, as the kids say these days, on keeping your energy clear and having really good self-care practices. And if you're looking to manifest something intentionally and consciously, same thing. You can't manifest what you want when you're carrying everybody else's energy and emotion. So that's why this stuff is really important and why it's where I often start with my clients, especially if they're working on a healing journey, if they are moving toward consciously manifesting a different kind of life for themselves. The basic thing to start with is getting really good about your energetic self care because it's going to set you up for a more successful journey from there. Right. Okay. So let's talk about that energetic self care now that I've talked about all that other beginning stuff. So I'm going to break this up into things that you should be doing regularly and are in some ways sort of like a preventive thing to do to care for your energy, just like we have certain things to care for our physical health, our preventive things that we do to make sure that we don't get sick. There are preventive things to do energetically to make sure our energy stays well, right? So there's going to be preventive things that we do, and then there's going to be things that we do as needed if you find that you are feeling overwhelmed, overburdened, sort of infiltrated by outside energy that's not your own, especially if it feels quite negative. Okay. So let's talk about the preventive things first. What I really recommend, and I do this myself every day, and it's something I started instituting as I started learning about energy, as I became an energy healer, and it's what I teach in my classes, and to my individual clients as well. Have a daily practice, and if you can, I'm going to strongly suggest it. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt to think about, but try to do it first thing in the morning if it's at all possible for your lifestyle. Have a daily practice of grounding and centering your energy and calling in a protective energy bubble, right? And so let me tell you what those things mean. Grounding means to visualize and intend to send your energy down to connect Mother Earth, and feel really centered and connected to your own body. And it is a way of calling in your energy so that it stays with you. It's not leaking out into the world, leaking out to all your other, all the connections in your life, etc. You're kind of getting solid and strong in your energy and staying really grounded. And then you want to visualize and intend that you're creating, there are many ways to do this, but the way that I like the best is creating an energetic bubble around you in which you will set the intention that only energies that are for your highest good, of love and light, of a high vibration, are going to be able to enter your energetic field. And anything else is going to be kept out, basically, right? And a lot of this work is about your intention. We're going to talk about some tools you can also use to aid you in this process. But fundamentally, this is about you caring for your energy through your own intention. You are a powerful being. You are an energetic, spiritual being in a physical body. You have the ability to do that with your intention. So we want to, in the morning, first thing, set the intention for that grounding and centering, set the intention to call in your protective energetic bubble. Can take like 2, 3 minutes. And I will guide you at the end of our time together in a brief little visualization so you know how to do that. So stick with me and we'll do that together at the end. Um, and so I really suggest you do this every day. And the more consistently you do it, the more consistently you will have a sense of what your own energy feels like when it's nice and grounded and clear and aligned. And then what will happen is at first it will set your day up better and you will have better experiences as a result. But beyond that, you will find that you know what your own energy feels like more and more clearly. So you will more easily know when you're kind of thrown off of that or you've absorbed something from somebody else. And it will be a trigger to you to say, like, okay, I don't feel like myself. I know I have to institute energetic practice to release anything I've picked up on to come back to myself. So this will become more and more clear over time if you stick with it. And let this become a practice that's like brushing your teeth, right? You do it every day without thinking about it because good basic hygiene is important to you, I assume. If not, then maybe kind of reflect on why not and come back around to that and add in your energetic self-care as well, right? And so if you can't do this in the morning, don't stress. Don't let that mean that you don't do it at all. Just do it the first time you're able to in your day. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions about that in the comments. Let me know if you already do this, if what works for you. I know it's been pretty life changing for me to make sure to have a time in the morning where I always do this as an empathic, intuitive woman, especially someone who's working as a healer, who I am interacting with a lot of different people throughout the day. And you may be as well, right? Okay, then the other preventative thing that I wanted to share with you is something to do at the end of your day, which is to call back your energy with your intention from anywhere it's been throughout your day, any people it's been with, any places, any situations you've been thinking about. Call it all back to you and set the intention of releasing anybody else's energy that that you've been carrying with you throughout the day, to go back to them with love. And this is a very simple practice of just spending a few moments, taking some deep breaths, setting the intention of your energy coming back. If you're a visual person, you can visualize it like streams of energy, ribbons of energy, or light bubbles of energy, whatever works for you, and releasing anything that's not yours to close out the day. As we go throughout our day, everybody, when you're interacting with people, we develop energetic cords and connections, right? And if we leave those cords and connections without calling our energy back, without detaching those connections, it can create this drain throughout the day of your energy. And if you don't do it multiple days in a row, like over multiple days, and so it's just a way to make sure that you're staying centered and have all of your energy available to you, and that other people in their life are responsible and holding on to their own energy. And a lot of times my clients ask me, when I tell them about this, like, well, what if there's somebody else that I really care for, and I want to support them? Totally get that. That makes, I feel the same way about many people in my life. But what we're doing is we're not calling back any of the like love you've given them, the support you've given them, anything that's for their highest good. You're calling back your own energy that's not good for you or them to be holding on to. It will drain you. And for them, it kind of teaches them to plug into you rather than being strong into their own energy or plugging into the divine source. And so what is most healthy is for everybody to care for their own energy, stay centered in their own energy, and then share love with one another, share support with one another, right? So that's what I'm talking about in terms of what you're calling back to themselves. You're not severing the connection with them. You're not being a support to them. You're just managing your own energy in a healthy way for everybody involved. So I hope that makes sense and resonates for people. Okay, so those are some daily practices that it's really good to get into the habit of doing. I can't emphasize it enough. And I will say, like, people who I have taught this, I teach in-person workshops about energy self-care. When they've started implementing this, especially if they're empaths or in people who are opening up their intuitive gifts, it's been pretty life-changing for them. Okay, and a secondary note about that bubble of protection that you're calling in and visualizing around you. You can do that anytime throughout your day, especially if you're going into a situation that you feel like is going to be energetically or emotionally overwhelming to you. Just take a moment, picture at that gold, you can make it gold or whatever other color resonates with you, bubble of protection around you. Set that intention that it's only going to let in energy that's good for you, and then proceed into the situation. It's subtle, it's a small thing to do, but it will make a difference if you do it consistently. Okay. Now let's talk about those things that we can do if you feel like, okay, I know I feel yucky. I've picked up someone else's energy that's not really resonating with me, that doesn't feel aligned with me, or I'm just feeling drained by other people, right? And if you're anything like me, um, I'm someone who, I love being social. I love going out with my friends. But even though I'm having a good time, even though I'm surrounded by good energy, it can still be a little overwhelming or overstimulating. So when I get home, I often feel kind of like wired. And it's not necessarily a bad feeling, but it's not how I want to feel all the time. And it's not my own energy. So these are practices you can use in either situation, whether it's feeling kind of dragged down or like you're holding on to something negative, or if you're just kind of feeling overstimulated and you're just holding on to energy that's not your own, right? First of all, there are like many things you can do about this. First of all, we can do energy clearing practices. There are many things to do this. A very simple and common one is to do a smoke clearing. So this is using different kinds of herbs that you burn or incense that you burn that has properties that are energetically cleansing. And so, what you'll do, and I have a couple examples in front of me actually, because I happen to just refill my own stash. For example, I have frankincense incense. It has a very high vibration in itself. So you would burn this incense. Holding the intention, you're going to clear your energy field of anything that doesn't belong to you, anything that's not for your highest good, and then waft it around you, right? There's also incense that it like sage incense would work for that. You can burn herbs like rosemary, cedar, mugwort, lavender. Let me think of any others. I wrote a couple down. Oh, juniper, bay leaves. So these are herbs that in themselves, they have energetic properties that are very high frequency and clearing. So when you set your intention and then an herb that has that intention is used, it kind of like doubles the impact. So you can do a smoke clearing. You can use sound for clearing. So if you have any kind of bell at home, a singing bowl, a chime. I have a chime. Where's my chime? My chime is over there, so I can't play it for you right now. But anything along those lines, what you will do is take a few deep breaths, set that intention. You're going to clear your energy field of anything that doesn't belong to you, anything that's not serving your highest good. And then you would play this bell around you or hit that singing bowl. If I use a singing bowl, I will usually go down my chakras, right? You could use the chime. There's also lots of beautiful frequencies on YouTube. I may even have a playlist somewhere on my channel of different energy clearing frequencies you can use. You can find one of those frequencies, play it in the background as you sit and breathe and set the intention of releasing anything that doesn't serve you. I'll try to remember to add a link to at least one of them in the what is it called, description box of this live after we're done. Um, okay, and also another thing, if you don't like smoke, if that irritates your lungs or you can't burn things in the place that you live, you can, as I said, you can use sound. You can also use cleansing sprays. Like for example, this is a protection spray. And this one has essential oils with Palo Santo and sage in it. Oh, smells amazing, actually. And so you would just spray that around your energy field and set that same intention. If you're someone who likes to make moon water, for example, which is, water that you charge under the light of the full moon, or who it has like a Reiki attunement, you can Reiki your own bowl of water, setting the intention it's going to be a clearing mist for you. Use it in that same way. Okay. Another beautiful thing I like to do, and this is for me, one of the most effective things, is working with selenite, which is this crystal, looks like this. This is a cleansing crystal. In itself, it's cleansing. It cleanses itself actually. It never needs to be cleansed. And so if I've had a particularly overwhelming day where I feel like I'm carrying someone else's energy or I'm feeling really overstimulated, I will sit with this crystal, hold on to it, help set the intention. It's going to help me cleanse my energy field. Sometimes I will lie down with it on my chest or on my head, which I know looks silly, but it works. Especially if sometimes I will sleep with this like that. You will feel so good in the morning. I always tell this story in my workshops, so I will share it with you guys now that there was a period of time I was going through a ton of anxiety for a couple of months. It was a stressful time of my life. I was having a lot of trouble sleeping. And I read somewhere that selenite was very cleansing. It was very good for anxiety, for coming back into alignment, releasing negative energy. So I was like, I am going to get a piece of the selenite stuff and I am going to try it out. And I never would have believed it. I was not somebody who worked with crystals before this, and I'm gonna sleep with this sucker. So I went to bed, I put it on my head to sleep with it, and I had the best night of sleep I had in months and woke up feeling totally different. So if you are someone who likes working with crystals, or you're just willing to give this a chance, give this a try, get yourself some selenite, try that. You'll feel different in the morning. Okay. What else did I want to share with you guys about that? So these practices are things that you can do as needed. Anytime you feel like you've picked up energy that just doesn't feel right for you. Another practice I really like doing is a salt scrub in the bath or shower. So if you're someone who likes taking baths, you can definitely fill up a bath, fill it with Epsom salts or sea salts and soak in the bath, setting the intention to release anything from your energetic field that doesn't, align with you and isn't good for you to carry. That's beautiful. I don't tend to take a lot of baths just because they take a while and I more easily jump in the shower. So what I do instead is I get sea salt, which is very purifying, and I get it right out of my kitchen. And I pour some when I'm in the shower, hold it in between my hands, set the intention that the salt is going to help me clear my energetic field. I will do a full body scrub and then rinse all off the salt as I picture the water cleansing away any energetic debris that's not serving me and letting it go down into the drain. And that absolutely makes a difference in how you feel. Sometimes I feel the salt get hot as I'm using it, and you just will feel very refreshed and it will exfoliate you. Just don't do it. Pro tip, do not do it after you've shaved. If you're shaving anything in your shower, do it beforehand because that will burn. Ask me how I know. Okay. Um, so that is something that you can do whenever you feel like you need a little reset, or you can make it a little bit of a daily practice, honoring your skin, of course, as long as it's not too much for your skin. Um, and I've recommended this to clients and have had them tell me it makes a huge difference in how they feel. So give that a try if you feel like you're someone who tends to carry other people's energy. Let me see what else I wanted to kind of share with you guys about that. Okay. Other things that are very helpful in terms of clearing your energy field are going outside and making sure you're spending time in nature. Okay, so grounding is very essential for empaths, for intuitives, for sensitive people. Nature will reset your energy. So go out, go sit in the grass or place your feet in the grass and picture that any energy that's not serving you is draining down into Mother Earth to be transmuted into love, into healing energy, into something that can support the earth, whatever resonates with you to set the intention with. And you'll find that your energy feels clear, more clear after that. Also, going and being around running water in nature, very clearing. So there was a period of time I had easy access to an arboretum near where I lived, where there was a waterfall. I would go and sit by the waterfall, and being in that spray with those ions, very energetically clearing. So if you have something like that around you, or a stream, or if you live by the ocean, um, all of those things very energetically clearing. Of course, getting energy healing is going to be energy clearing, doing visualizations, guided visualizations, where you go through and visualize white light, clearing your energy field and balancing your chakras. Very clearing. I have a meditation you can download on my website if you'd like to follow along with that meditation. Um, EFT, emotional freedom techniques, tapping, very energetically clearing. So I have a couple different energy EFT tapping videos on my channel. I believe there's one for clearing away energy that's not your own that you can utilize. And if you don't know what EFT is, it stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. And it's an acupressure self-healing technique that you use where you tap on certain acupressure points in your body that are connected to energy lines that run in your body that will help you move and clear energy. I can definitely do a video about that later on if you have any questions about that, but that works really well as well. Okay, so those are some of the tools and techniques I wanted to offer you guys. Let me know if you're here live. Have you tried these things? Are they things that you use? Did you have any questions about them? Or do you have any questions about, you know, your energetic self care as an empath, as an intuitive? Let me know. I will take a moment here to pause, get some water, wait for any questions. Okay. All right. If there's no questions, what I would like to do now is do a quickie little grounding and centering and protection visualization. And, is negative energy stronger than positive energy? That's a great question, Debbie. I don't feel that it is. Um, the thing that I think can sometimes be challenging about negative energy is once you are in that place where you're feeling a little bit more negative, your vibration is lower, it can feel, you can feel like a little unmotivated or helpless to get out of it, right? I find this for myself sometimes. Um, this is more if like I'm feeling sad about something, for example, or angry about something. It's kind of like there's part of you that wants to dwell on it, and there's like a little bit of a helplessness, like I said, or lack of motivation to shift your energy. And so in that way sometimes it's a little bit more challenging to deal with, but once you actually do it and you take those steps to clear your energy, I don't think it's any more strong than positive energy. And I think positive energy, it very quickly works to lift your energetic vibration. So, do you have to maintain a strong positive energy to not take on negative energy around you? Debbie is asking. Basically, does negative energy overpower? So, so the answer to the first question is yes, the more you maintain that strong positive energy, the less susceptible you will be to take on negative energy. And when you do, the easier it will be to clear it and to know what it feels like when you're back to your positive energy and back to yourself. Right. And that's why I was saying earlier that it's important to have that daily energetic practice, if you can, in the morning, because that will lift your energy, help it stay strong and positive. So then when you go throughout your day, it will be harder to take on negative energy and for negative energy to impact you. Um, and then she asks, basically, does negative energy overpower? I wouldn't say like, oh, if you have really strong positive energy, it's not really going to overpower you completely. But if you're already in a negative place, if you're not caring for your energy and then you encounter negative energy, then I think it feels more overwhelming. It's more overpowering in that state. So hopefully that's clear, Debbie. And she says, thank you. So I'm hoping I answered the question well. Yeah. Um, yeah, definitely. I think that's why this is important. And when we talk about negative energy, I never want you guys to be scared about that. It's not something to be scared of. It's just something to be aware of and to know that you have the ability to shift and to create, what I like to call like an energetic toolkit. So you have your go-to things to do if you know that you've taken on something that's just not in alignment with you, whether it be negative energy or anything else. Okay. Any other questions? I love answering questions, people. So feel free to put them in the chat. Okay. Let us do that quick grounding and centering. Now, I do a longer version of this whenever I'm doing like a meditation or deeper energy clearing. But let's do like a quick and dirty one so that you have something simple and easy to do when you're doing your morning practice or if you don't have a lot of time in your day. So take a second here to close your eyes. Maybe place one or both hands on your heart. And let's just start with taking 3 slow, deep, intentional breaths. Big inhale and exhale, bringing your energy into the present moment. Big inhale and exhale, calling it back from wherever it's been. Big inhale and exhale, and releasing any energy that's not your own, sending it away. And now connect down into your heart. So taking a nice deep breath into your heart. And then out of your heart, send down a golden cord of your energy so that it flows all the way down into the center of the earth, grounding you, anchoring you, rooting you. And then reconnect to your heart. And this time, lift up a golden cord of your energy so that it goes up into the heavens as high, high, up as you can, connecting to divine healing and love. Letting that align you, knowing that you are guided and supported throughout your day. And then call in a bubble of energetic protection around you. And you can visualize this as a beautiful translucent gold bubble that forms around you. And this bubble will protect your energetic field from any energy that does not serve you, only allowing in energy that's for your highest good, that is of love and light, and dissolving away anything else, anything that is not that. And then just sit in that energetic bubble for a moment. And then take a final deep breath. Big inhale and exhale. Okay. And that's all it needs to be. A few minutes of sending your energy down to the earth, aligning yourself, to the heavens, to divine love, the universe, God, goddess, whatever resonates with you, and then picturing that energetic bubble around you. Give this a try. Do it every day, do it for a week or so, see how you feel. Right. And you have also those other energetic protection and energetic clearing things I mentioned to you in this video. I also wanted to tell you guys before we wrap up of a couple other resources that you can use that are available to you for free. Um, which first of all is that a guided energy clearing and balancing audio meditation. I will leave a link for that down below if you'd like to access that. It's about a 25-minute long guided visualization where I guide you through balancing and clearing your chakras and energy system. I also have a course, a mini course called um, Magical Morning Ritual Challenge, which I guide you through 7 days worth of morning rituals, including this grounding and centering, but also some other things that are going to support you in creating your own custom tailored morning ritual that will support you in your healing and manifestation journey, right? So I'll take you through 7 days worth of different kinds of morning rituals so that you have a library to choose from to create your own morning ritual that will help you maintain positive energy, align and heal yourself in such a way that facilitates your goals in life, right? And what you're calling in for yourself. So I'll leave a link to that down below as well. And then, of course, if you'd like to do more energy work, if you feel like you need some support in clearing your energy field, balancing your chakras, releasing blocks, I am here for energy healing sessions. I channel both Reiki and Sakim energy healing to help support you in that process. So always feel free to reach out to work one on one with me. Okay, guys, if there's no more questions, I hope you have a beautiful day. Come back. Let me know how these energy practices work for you. You can always leave a comment and feel free to reach out if you need any further support. And I will see you back here next week, next Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Time. And we're going to be talking about next week intuition. What is intuition? What are your intuitive senses? How do you start listening to them? How do you start trusting them? So we'll continue on this journey to talk about this next step of trusting and listening to your intuition. Okay, I'll see you guys later.